and welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for a new episode of Anewgo of New Home Sales. I'm your host, Anya Chrysanthon.
Hello, I'm John Lee.
And today we have a big announcement to make. So this is really exciting. We are introducing Anewgo Marketplace Portal coming this summer. Woohoo!
Yes, I mean, it's been many years in the making. Actually, when we founded Anewgo 2 years ago, we had started to put all this content together with all of our network of partners and builders to make this come to fruition. So excited to have this come together this summer.
Obviously, there's no shortage of portals out there when it comes to shopping for homes. So let's talk a little bit about how Anewgo Marketplace is different from, say, Zillow or any other portal.
Yeah, so first of all, let's delineate the difference between a marketplace and a portal, because sometimes they're used synonymously. A marketplace is really a gathering place for buyers, sellers, and vendors. And it's really a place where you can learn, shop, and transact. So marketplace is really about transactions. And that's why you don't hear too much about it in our industry, because we really don't have a marketplace where you can actually find design, experience, and then buy online. So we normally refer to the marketplace as portals. And portals are really about interactions. It's really an entry point where you're able to view information about the products and the vendors. Each individual can have a private UI, user interface, for that user to interact with the seller or real estate agent. So it's kind of like your patient portal for your health. You have a secure private channel that you can communicate with. In e-commerce, portals are really a subset of a marketplace. I mean, e-commerce really is where you can transact online. And so a portal in a marketplace, it's really like your shopping cart in Amazon Marketplace, or like your Facebook page in the Facebook Marketplace. You may start out at the high level, like you go to, say, a farmer's market. You're going there to learn, discover, shop, and have conversations with the vendors. But you can actually buy those bags of tomatoes.
So I guess the question is then, current portals that are out there, are there any marketplaces?
Not that I know of, particularly with the new home space, where you really have to have the ability not just maybe purchase land or inventory home, but actually maybe design a home. That's been a monumental task in itself to allow that interactive content. And we call it, beyond that, interactive smart content, because you have to have a lot of data that's tied in with that content, everything from the price to all the specs. And that's something that we've been working on for 20 years, frankly. When we were even started out as a rendering house, we were creating content that's now infused with that valuable data, which is fed from traditionally the ERP systems, and even feeds out to, say, a CRM system, so that the data flows all the way to the salespeople to understand what the buyer is doing online.
So really the goal of our marketplace is eventually to allow buyers to transact within this portal, so that they come in, they have a place to find, design, experience new homes online, and then eventually they'll be able to transact on those homes, which is very unique from everything else that's available out there today.
Yeah, so we're working with a number of builders, and we've actually had one that's already started with the buy online transaction. So we're bringing that feature, buy online, which has been done at a builder specific level, and now bring it to the marketplace where consumers will be able to shop across thousands of builders, plans, communities, home sites, everything down to the kitchen sink, compare in their shopping cart, which is kind of like their portal, and then when they're ready to buy now online, whether that online is sitting at home on your bed, or coming to the sales center and transacting online with a credit card or through your ACH bank transfers.
So how would somebody join this marketplace? If I'm a builder and I'm thinking like, oh, this would be pretty cool to be represented in this marketplace, how could I be a part of it?
Well, I always say content is king. So you really have to start off with content. There's nothing to sell if you don't have the content out there. And the unique thing about new construction is a lot of that content is virtual. You would come to us if you want to be part of our Anewgo Marketplace, for us to create that content, everything from the elevations to the floor plan options to the site plan, and then interior design options for kitchens, bathrooms, and such. All that content is put into your specific builder app, as well as content that's relevant to your communities, to your builder page, which is what we'll have. Basically, every builder that's in our network will have their own profile page that represents them. With all that content, what happens is, unlike a traditional website, that content is dynamically generated on the fly by the consumer. Because here's the paradox: the consumer wants to have everything possible out there at their fingertips, but they don't want to go shuffle through thousands of combinations and options. So what we need to do is, when they register, it brings the relevant content that's uniquely created specifically for them. And you can go back to our past episodes to see how that magic works. But basically, all this stuff is done through our cloud rendering engine. So it takes all those pieces and parts that we've accumulated from all the different builders, and it reconfigures them uniquely to that buyer.
So great news is that if you're already a My Home app customer with Anewgo, your communities will be included in this marketplace. So the way you want to think about it is, right now with My Home app, which typically overlays over builder's existing website. So when a consumer comes into it, they're entering the app without even realizing that they're entering the app. And what it allows them to do when they enter the app is it allows them the ability to, again, design, experience, and potentially buy homes online, but it saves their progress. So say if I started on designing my dream home today, and then I come back tomorrow, I don't have to pick up, figure out, trace my steps back. I can just pick up where I left off because it saved all of my information within this app. So now, this only works for that particular builder. And so if you think about it, what we're doing is we're taking all of these individual builder bubbles and we're elevating them up into this marketplace. So now when a consumer enters into the marketplace, instead of just seeing one builder and maybe the 100 different floor plans and the 10 different communities that they offer, they're going to be able to see hundreds of builders who are all part of My Home app. And they'll be able to see thousands of communities and millions of floor plans.
One of the biggest unknown secrets or known secrets are fallacies in this industry is that when builders get a lead on their website, they think that the buyer is only focused and interested in them. The reality is buyers are shopping multiple builders, multiple communities, because they want to make this decision of their lifetime. And not only in our ecosystem, this marketplace, can you start where you left off, but start back where you left off across different channels. So the marketplace is this overarching channel that we're creating, but you also have your website channel, you have your social media channels, you have your email marketing campaigns. All that is utilizing our current My Home apps, but we also have that in the point of sales in your sales center. So we can't predict how the buyers are going to shop, where they're going to start, where they're going to finish, where they're going to come back to. So we have to create this whole ecosystem. I mean, if you think about Amazon or Netflix, basically whatever channel they go to, that content, their history, what they're interested in is all there. So they never go backwards.
So whether they come into your model home and they check out the kiosk and they log in with their information, and when they go home and they log into the marketplace, they see exactly where they left off. And I think this is amazing because new home buying journey is a long journey. I mean, right now it's certainly been shortened due to the market conditions, but typically people spend a long time looking online to see what designs do they like, what communities do they like, what features do they like. So it's a continuous experience. And as you said, John, they are certainly not just doing it online. They may be visiting you in person, and that conversation, essentially the progress that you've made with the salesperson on site, gets recorded inside the your unique login. So when you come back again, you're seeing exactly what you did with that salesperson, and you moving forward continuously, which is huge because it is really frustrating to to look at a floor plan and then you don't have any of that information, what you saved, what you designed. And I think one of the awesome features that we're going to have is the collaborative design ability, because I know as an ex-salesperson, it was always really frustrating for me when I had to meet with the customers to make their final selections. And this is the first time they're seeing what's available to them, as opposed to now being able to go online, design their home, design it with their spouse, and they can each input the information that they're interested in, so that they're building the home together, which is essentially what happens, right? They can share those ideas, and most importantly, they can even share it with their friends, their network, share it on social media, and just think about the viral nature of sharing that. I mean, that's free marketing in itself.
Yeah, you covered a lot of things there. So when you register, if you register using your Facebook account, you have the immediate ability to share, and that does create a free viral marketing to potentially similar audience that may be interested in your home, similar demographics, and obviously a referral goes a long way. And not only do you see what that person has designed, but if you click on the backlink, you can go back and say, hey, I know you designed it in blue, but how about in yellow? And it could be actually a playful, fun viral marketing campaign that you don't have to pay for. The other thing is, when you're talking about collaboration, not only can you collaborate with your friends and spouse, but this is where it's the opportunity for the salespeople to actually meet the buyers online, where that's where they're really engaged with. So through the experience of like Zoom here, you can come in on Zoom and share that screen and design with them and counsel them. But you can also, as a salesperson, based on what you know of that client, create 3 or 4 homes that you think they may be interested in, with all the designs and down to the home site and everything, and then email them that link, and then they can take it from there and says, actually, out of these 3, I only like these 2. You can delete one, start designing those 2. And so you're going through this comparative and shopping experience together online.
So I think right now, when we think about the shopping experience for new home sales, it's really frustrating, because really we have 2 choices for the most part. It's either A, buyers are forced to scroll endless website pages one by one, right? You're going to put in a Google search for home builder in Texas and then see what comes up, and then hope that the home builder that you're actually interested in is ranked on Google, so that
Right.
you can find them before you hit page 3 and you get sick and tired of it. Or the other option is, of course, to use current portals, whether it's Zillow or a new home specific portal. But I think what's frustrating about the current portals out there is that even though you're coming in to a portal to essentially see options for new homes, with portals like Zillow, you're competing immediately with the used homes. And we know that used homes typically have a much better content compared to new homes. So most builders out there on Zillow don't have necessarily great 3D tours and virtual tours, et cetera, but a lot of used homes are now adding that. So you're seeing them side by side. So of course you're going to be tempted to switch to used. And then in the new home specific portals, I think the problem is that a lot of times, even though you're seeing all the builders available in your area in one place, if you actually want to explore the options, it takes you outside of that portal. Essentially, it's just a website link. So again, you're ending up on a builder specific website, which from the customer experience, if you think about it, it's a really terrible experience, because again, I can't save where I went. I can't save what I was looking for, because again, it's taken me outside of that portal into the individual website. So now if I want to save some of my favorites, now I have to register for 5 different websites. And what do you think is going to happen when I register for 5 different websites?
Well, first of all, it's going to be very complex for the customer's experience to go back and try to figure out what everything is. You can't compare them, but then you're going to get 5 different phone calls from the
Ding, 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 5 different phone calls. So
exactly. Yeah. Why would you want to dive into that shark infested waters there? Your attraction is actually the scary part. You actually touched on a lot of things there. One of the guiding principles of our whole ecosystem here is to allow them to find, design, experience, and buy online. A lot of people think, the last 3 are the toughest and most compelling reasons to use the marketplace. Actually, I would argue that the find part is the toughest part, and it's the most compelling reason to use the marketplace, because starting that new home search, which 2/3 of the people are actually interested in buying new, and only about 10-15% actually buy a new home. I think you're losing them right from the start. And it's actually costing builders a lot of money to appeal to them in that fine part. I mean, like you're alluding to with the portals and the search engines, you're paying to be on there. You're bidding against bigger pocketbooks than you probably have. Obviously, you have to spend a lot of time and effort to monitor that as well. But that's not really the way the customers want to shop. They don't really want directory assistance. I mean, search engines and portals in a sense are a marketplace, but they're really directory assistance and they just direct you somewhere else. And now you have to go and bookmark or try to remember where everything is. And if you use a search engine, in all likelihood, the next time you come back, what was number 3 is no longer number 3 anymore because it knows you've already gone there. So it's a shuffling game that they can't keep up with. Obviously, you have to go into each builder's website to see if they have that Jack and Jill bath, or they have that available cul-de-sac lot, or they have the price ranges that match you, because you're only putting a few keywords. After about 10 websites that you went to and they didn't appeal to you, and you're probably going to be exposed to the big builders first, the buyers may just give up. They don't know whether they're going to finally find that Easter egg that they've been looking for, or needle in a haystack, or it's never there. And so what we want to do in the find part, first of all, is not only to enable a better search approach where there's a number of ways that we're going to do this. One is we are going to put the search engine within our marketplace. So in a sense, we're like Google, but we're better than Google. We're Google for new homes. So there are unique terms to our marketplace and our industry that a buyer will want to search on, that cul-de-sac, pools, farmhouse styles. So when they're searching on those terms, it's pulling up relevant content to them. They don't have to put in new homes as part of their 5 keywords because they're already in new home marketplace, right? The other part that we're going to do is bring in what they're used to with, say, a portal, which is like Mls Filters, 4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, 3,000 square feet, whatever price range. So those are filter ranges. And what happens is when you do these filters, it pulls up the matching content. But we're going beyond that. We're letting the buyers search the way they want to search. In our My Home app right now, some people are elevation centric. They have to buy that farmhouse. Some people are lot centric. I need to have that cul-de-sac. So you choose your preference on what is most meaningful for you and your priorities. But in the marketplace, we're extending that so you can shop by communities. If you want to live in the community, you can shop by the community lifestyle. If you want to build on your lot, you go only to the build on your lot button to see only those. If you're agnostic to the builders, you only want to look for the farmhouse or the colonial, whatever, you can shop by elevation, the style. And we have a visual search thing where we tagged all the different homes to match certain styles. So if you like farmhouse, you just see more of it. You actually don't even need to know the architectural terminology. I mean, we're hoping to appeal to people that don't even speak English or shopping from overseas, which is another expansion of the marketplace beyond the portals of today, which are very US MLS centric. The other part is if you do like a particular builder, you can now just search based on the builder. So there's so many different ways that you can shop based on your preference.
Yeah, you're right that we do have the Google engine built inside, but what's different about it, as you mentioned, is it's all picture driven. So just like if you think about Pinterest, when you click on a certain image that appeals to you, then you're going to see more images like that. So that's what is behind the design in this marketplace, is it's very visual. So instead of searching by keywords, you're essentially searching by pictures and seeing more of that style, which is much easier. And as you said, it appeals to many different cultures, many different languages, because you don't even have to speak English to understand an image, to understand a video of it. And, as we know, people come to portals. So again, America's favorite.
60% of the people that come to Zillow are not even interested in buying a home right then, only 20%. So 3 times as many people come into Zillow just for the fun of it, just for the dream. We're going to take that dream a step further, because you're not just going to look at homes that exist and that's owned by someone else. You get to dream up virtually what you want with AIs and our cloud rendering engines assistance. So if you really do like the farmhouse, you can now design some things, and maybe there's a lot of farmhouse lovers out there that may like your design and share it with you, and all of a sudden you built a following. I can see builders starting those kind of things to showcase, their smart homes, green homes, their new designs. And so what we really are trying to create is a safe but fun playground, so you can learn about new homes in a fun way, find people that have similar interests and tastes and expertise. So they are guiding you along, so that the builder's job is not as much of a sales job. These people have already come curated, excited, motivated, and they've spent months of doing that without you having to push them and drive them, and you don't want to spend months with them in that part of the shopping experience.
Exactly. So it's an opportunity to intercept a lot of those buyers early on in their journey, and really to convince them that new is for them.
We're raising the top of the funnel. Not only are we giving this marketplace so you can shop across everything and not have this FOMO that you're missing out on something just because you simply couldn't find it, or it's just too painful to find, or you're being biasly deterred there because of Google and whoever pays the most for you. But we understand that most buyers that are shopping for new homes are not familiar with new homes, but they would love to buy new homes, just like you would like to buy new shoes, new car, new phone. But it's a much more complex purchase. So you may start your shopping journey 2 or 3 months before you actually are looking for a particular house or location. So what we want to do is add a little fun into the shopping experience. This is something that a builder on their own could not do, because each builder does not have the Got Milk campaign and why you should buy new. And so what we want to do is, when you come in, basically you can say, hey, I'm ready to shop, or you just want to learn, discover, and explore buying new. And this is where, Anya, you're really going to come in here with a little bit of social influencing, but also basically you can come in there and say, hey, what's new home financing? How are interest rates going? What's the trend in colors? What's a septic tank? What's a typical construction process involved? So through the community of our builders and realtors, they're contributing content here like they would normally in, say, in a Facebook type of scenario. So in this marketplace there, we want this to not just be a shopping experience, but it's a lifestyle. It's a fun shopping experience.
Yes, I would say that's definitely our mission at Anewgo, is to make shopping for new homes fun and easy. So now, John, let's jump into talking a little bit more about some of the differences between current portals out there versus Anewgo Marketplace Portal. So we already talked about the directory. So it's not going to be the directory where you just come in and it takes you to 100 different websites. So the buyer is going to be staying inside the portal. Think about Amazon. When you're coming to Amazon to shop, you're adding a bunch of different items into your shopping cart, but you're staying within Amazon. It's not taking you to 100 different vendors.
If you really are falling in love deep into your online shopping funnel with Builder ABC, and you do want to learn about them, not only can you go to that builder page in the marketplace, but there is a link that will take you into that website, so you can learn more about the team, their history, their construction process. But you can jump back into your shopping cart to continue the transaction. And Amazon does that as well. At a certain point, you can go to the buyer's website, but all your credit card information, all your history is maintained in a common database.
Yeah, and we know that buyers prefer to shop through a portal. And I think the biggest benefit to home builders is that you're going to have all the additional eyeballs besides the traffic that you're able to generate to your own website now coming from Anewgo through the marketplace, because essentially we're going to be spending our dollars to bring traffic to this marketplace, so that the people shopping can discover you in this marketplace.
Like you said before, because we're part of a whole ecosystem there, when they do come from the marketplace into your websites, My Home app, or they go to your sales center, they really haven't left our macro marketplace. They're just coming in from a different channel. So it's the same customer with all the same data, and just interacting in the channel that they want to interact in.
All right, so since you brought up the word data, let's talk about data real quick here. So a couple of things. So obviously right now we provide some great analytics for My Home app customers. So when somebody comes into your website, it's not a third-party data where you just see anonymous footprints and you really don't know who is doing what. Through our analytics, you can see specific shoppers and their behavior. So for example, as we were following the first purchases through Harbor Homes, we saw that the buyer selected a certain home site, and then they switched to another home site. They selected one plan, switched to another plan, changed their options. So you can really follow the customer and you know exactly the name of the customer through this journey. Now, I think this arises a question for our customers. How will Anewgo treat my data? So the customers that I have attracted through my website, is their information going to be shared in this marketplace? Because obviously I worked really hard to attract them and, you know, they're my customers.
The leads that they have generated in their website that have even been registered on the My Home app in their website, that's their leads. I mean, it's going to continue the same way it has been. Those leads are passed over to your CRM, or you can access that through your insights, and you're also getting notifications by email every time a lead comes in, and that's your purview. And same thing with the sales center. In the marketplace there, the main difference is now the buyer will have more control, because like as you alluded to earlier, they're going to probably be shopping across multiple builders, but they don't want to get called by multiple builders all at once because they may be just browsing. They're just saving some things into their shopping cart. So what we want to do in that scenario is, and since Anewgo is the one that has invested in attracting and marketing them and engaging them, we're leaving it up to the buyers to say, hey, out of these 5 builders, I want to talk to this one first. So it's going to be a contact me. And so when they could initiate it, first of all, they're not going to be offended. They actually want your attention, and you actually have a very serious lead if they ask you to contact them. And at that point, the builder can interact with them. The data is important to run e-commerce. As a consumer, often you freely offer that data because you want a better shopping experience. You want to show things that are relevant. So we're following the same thing. It's an opt-in registration. We're using what we call zero-party data. It's not just data that they're giving you for their contact. It's data that they're soliciting you to help them. This all kind of dovetails into the bigger data set, which is utilizing a matching system. So the current approach for finding a new home is really a manual process. It's dependent upon the tolerance, the capability, the time of the consumer. So the consumer has to go and manually search all the time, and maybe the husband and wife both have to do this, and then it gets really tangled up. So what we want to do is what you may be doing with, you know, if you've gone to dating sites or Uber or something here, you specify what you're looking for. You know, I'm looking for, you know, a certain type of home with certain types of options in a certain location with, you know, certain amenities, and same with the communities. I want these kind of this lifestyle. So when you fill out that short quiz, and you can go as far as you want. So obviously the more you complete, the better the match. So we pretty much broke it up into like a few segments here. The must-haves: has to be 4 bedrooms, has to be 3.5 baths, has to be under $500,000 and all that stuff. Okay, it's very similar to like an MLS portal thing. Okay, so your must-haves. But then, you know, part of the reason you're buying new is because you're desiring certain things. So you put in there, oh, I want to have, oh, I love to have an outdoor kitchen. Oh, I love to be able to move in 6 months. I love to have a community pool. And so it finds matches that based on that. And then the final thing is some psychographic type of things or personal stuff like, and this is up to you if you want to share. I have 3 kids. I have a dog. I'm a very outdoorsy person. I'm actually very social. And maybe if you want to put in your age, it's up to you. And then it provides better matches. And the nice thing is what I call a set it and forget it. Once you put this criterion in there, you don't have to go back like a search engine and look for these things again. And the crazy part is builders are paying a lot for these search engines, and they're paying a lot to be researched, to be found again. So you're paying twice for some of these consumers. when the consumers just want to set it and forget it and then basically be notified. So the match and notify piece is actually critical, that you have no more FOMO, fear of missing out on something that just popped up. And there's a little bit of excitement in there. I mean, everybody likes to be notified, whether it's a Facebook like or, a recommendation on Netflix or something like that. So it notifies you and maybe even your co-buyer. On the flip side of this, the builders are actually, if they want, to fill out a profile of their ideal client, not demographic stuff or racial stuff or anything like that. But hey, we like people that can afford, $400,000 to $600,000 and looking to move in 60 days. They want to live in this area where these kind of minis. So just like a great matching game here, there'll be a matching score, because in Uber, one of the interesting things is, people think that the passengers are shopping the drivers. No, the drivers are actually shopping which passenger they want to pick up, because they're independent contractors saying, hey, I know this person's a good tipper. They're very clean. They're going the same direction as I am. So what you want to do as a builder here, instead of just taking whatever Google dumps on you and then trying to curate 4,000 leads for the 4 gold nuggets, and by the time you get to those gold nuggets, they were already gone, because the reality is you probably spend most of your time on the ugly leads. Those are the ones that are always badgering you, trying to negotiate pricing, and they can't, they're not qualified, and all those kind of things. And the good leads are slipping by. What you want to do is, using AI and data, which they're volunteering again, have the best match score from 0 to 100. So that, maybe because you're so busy and you want to be very selective, you only want a score of 70. The other aspect to it is engagement score. How engaged are they with your products? How many likes have they done? How many favorites? How many brochures have they created? Have they scheduled a tour? Are you narrowing down from 5 builders down to 2? So that combination of that matching score with that engagement score guides the marketing and sales people on how to react. If you really want somebody with high match, because they're so desirable, they're willing to spend $1 million and they love you, but the engagement score is low because they either don't have time or they're kind of shy, then this is where you send your best salesperson to appeal to them. If it's somebody that has a high match score and a high engagement score, actually leave them alone. They're on autopilot. They're probably going to hit the buy now button without you doing anything. So this guides the builders on how to market and sell, as opposed to the way it is right now, which I say it's shotgun advertising. You're putting a few keywords out there, paying a lot of money for it, somehow bought into the idea that 2% click-through rate is great. And then 80% of those click-through rates, not even like good leads, because they're your competitors or somebody looking for a job. You're paying a lot of money for all this stuff. And then at the end of the day, you don't even have their name and number. I mean, what's the point of that? And you're going to do this every day until you run out of your budget. And you're never going to outbid the big builders. They can pay more for your name than you can. So it's actually a bad game for the builders. It's a bad experience for the consumers. We want to change all that with a marketplace. We want to make this fun, exciting, and meaningful. And using AI to take it to the next level of what we call optimization and predictive marketing. If you find out there's certain trends of your buyers that are high engagement, high matches, but they exhibit similar shopping behavior, the marketing in the marketplace can appeal to them with dynamic content that's personalized. That's one of the big differences between the marketplace built on an app, like you have in Amazon and Facebook. Little secret, all of our Facebook pages aren't the same. In the marketplace, the content dynamically changes around the buyer, whereas on the website, the buyer has to change around the same content. So we want to make it responsive, and then wherever they are in the sales funnel. And I know I'm going on a big preaching thing here, but one of the things on that whole exploration piece, which is not available now, when they're clicking on articles that relate to interest rates, or they're clicking on what is a smart home, and all the different topics that we throw out there, in a sense, they're completing a questionnaire without feeling that they're creating a questionnaire, because we know what things they're sensitive to. So if it's about interest rates, then you know that you may need to lead them towards certain types of homes or financing promotions, all that. There's no sense giving away something you don't need to give away to. There's also no sense in trying to pitch something that they're not going to be resonating with.
So basically, to answer the question of data and privacy, we will use the data that the client reveals to Anewgo through the quiz to provide better matches and notifications. But the data that the clients provided to you as the home builder through My Home app is your data. We'll never
We
reach
have
out
no
to
reason
that.
to turn around and sell it to a shoe company to sell shoes. We're here to build trust, not just build virtual homes. Like I always say, if you want to be incredible, you have to be credible. And we want to be incredible. We want to be a credible source to find the right matches for you, because your homes and your lots are a premium asset for you. It should not go to someone that's not the right match, but maybe you're not getting the best price for it. One builder's trash is another one's treasure, and sometimes we're taking the trash when we should give that away and take someone else's treasure. And it's a great matching game. That's why Match.com works. A lot of marriages have come out of that.
So obviously the first version that's coming out this summer is not going to have all the features that we mentioned today. For example, the articles are going to be added later on.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about some of the additional features that we're going to be releasing down the road. So as the marketplace evolves. So let's mention a few of them.
The world is coming to a Web3 environment. Most of the builders have lived through the print age. They lived through Web 1.0 and 2.0. You may not even realize that, but I think most of our industry websites and stuff is really kind of like 1.5. It's still static. They're not really web apps and all that. But in what we're trying to build here is we want to make it sure it's compatible for Web 3.0 or Web 3, which is going to usher in some nuanced things of cryptocurrency. I mean, who knows how the transaction is going to be in the future? NFTs, non-fungible tokens, the way you assign ownership to things, blockchain for security. So we need to bring in all those things, because this is, if of any financial asset, this is probably the biggest one. So those are things that you can use to transact, and especially you can go global. The other aspect to this is because these homes don't exist, and Rendering House and Anewgo, we were born in the metaverse, and obviously our content is virtual. I mean, one of the biggest growth areas for us is virtual tours because of COVID, but because of relocation, but because simply people don't want to go there. I mean, they're remote buyers, and bringing in that metaverse into the Web3 environment is going to require some unique technologies, especially if you want to go into AR and MR. You can no longer just use a traditional browser. You have to have capabilities in your native device to visualize an augmented reality house, which could be the way you shop in the future. That the buyers can just drop a dollhouse on their kitchen table and look at it together collaboratively. Why would I go to a website and look at a bunch of 2D images? I want to spin it around. I want to go inside. I want to save different designs. I want to click on and learn about the siding material and all the different finishes and everything. And then once I save it back to the cloud, if I go back on the home site, I drop it right in there, but I pull it out of my marketplace account, because I really think when people set up their marketplace accounts, just like they have probably with Facebook and Netflix and Amazon, they're not going to change it, because one thing that goes throughout your whole life, in addition to your family and friends and maybe your career, is your home life. So once you set that up, as technology continues to change, they're going to hopefully gravitate back to home base, which is where they have all their warranties, and we're talking about other features. When you buy a new home, you're not just buying the house, you're buying everything for the house, you're buying all the services related to it. Why does the pre-qualification have to be done way down in the sales funnel when you meet with the salesperson and find out that, wow, I designed the Taj Mahal and I can't afford it? Why couldn't it move to the top of the sales funnel when you register in there, and you can just say, hey, there's a question there. Are you pre-qualified or not? And if you want to get pre-qualification right there, so you can start shopping within your means, 15 minutes, you get a pre-qualification letter, and a digital letter in a sense. The beautiful thing about that for the consumer is now it would only show me the homes I can afford. I mean, I definitely wouldn't want to go design something, get all hyped up, and get rejected. It's embarrassing. And then my wife will probably go beyond what I can afford. But also on the builder side, it curates those leads. So you're not wasting time, not just even doing the administrative task of interviewing them and the awkward conversation of fill out this and stuff. You know that people that are shopping you can afford to shop you. Mm-hmm. And we put all the administrative, and this is where prop tech, which is property, real estate, technology, and fintech come together. Fintech, it does everything from the financial transactions to DocuSign to insurance and all that stuff. We're in a unique industry to do e-commerce. Not only do we have to merge prop tech with fintech because it's a real estate transaction, but we're doing it with the most complex, expensive product that has thousands of pieces and parts down to the home site and kitchen sink, and they don't exist. And you're buying it sight unseen, probably remotely. I mean, that's a heck of a challenge. And that's why it's taken us 20 years to get here. But I really feel like we're on the cusp of that. And I really appreciate our hundreds of builders that have continued that journey with us. And I hope they will continue this, because I think when we get to that next paradigm, all these features that were beyond reach are going to be within reach, all the way to the final transaction. And I would say it's going to be to closing and beyond, because when you buy into a house and that transaction has occurred at closing digitally, you still have warranties, you still have, reminders of maintenance and your insurance policies. All those things can continue to go with you, just like all the other social networks of your career, and LinkedIn and Facebook for, say, your social. Now you have a home life social network.
Absolutely. To have a digital copy of your home. I mean, talk
All
about
your floor plans, all your color swatches, maybe, when you're ready to sell in the future, maybe you just hit the button for sell. You already have the community site plans. You even have your neighbors that have started that journey with you, kind of, helping you along, sharing the wonderful things about the neighborhood and all those things. So I think it opens up a whole new virtual world of opportunities.
Yeah, so this is super exciting. And I think the way I like to describe Anewgo Marketplace Portal is kind of like Facebook meets real estate, new construction real estate search site. So every single time a buyer comes into their Anewgo Marketplace Portal, every single person is going to have a different look and feel of that homepage, because just like when you and I go into Facebook, we see different friends, we see different type of content based on what we've liked. So it's going to be just like that for the new home shoppers. They'll see unique content based on their likes and their preferences. And the types of builders, the types of floor plans, the types of communities they're going to see is going to be tailored specifically to that, which really eliminates a lot of buyers' fatigue, because they don't have to sift through hundreds and hundreds of websites, stuff that's completely irrelevant to them. So the content essentially is curated to appeal to their preferences already. And now they can go ahead and decide between the 10 choices, narrow down to the 3, and then have the final 2 contact them. So I'm really excited about this. And now, as we wrap things up, is there anything else that you'd like to leave our listeners with?
Be patient, be kind, but be willing, and keep your mind open. I really feel like I'm getting a little emotional here, but I've been doing this for 20 years, and this is something I've been dreaming about for a long time. Actually, I secured the domain name Anewgo.com back in 2011, and a lot of things had to come together in this industry, from technology and unpredictable things like COVID and relocations. But I think we're coming together from a technology standpoint and from a comfort level of consumers. The millennials been used to all this technology, have grown up to become the biggest new home shopping segment. So not only would they like this, they expect this. And I really feel like when you're buying a new home, yes, we're selling homes, but what I really want to do with the Anewgo Marketplace Portal, AMP, we really want to amp things up in that it's beyond just the e-commerce thing. It's really a social network, in a sense of, we're not just building a home, we're building a community. And that community doesn't just involve the buyers and the sellers, but ultimately landowners that want to sell a piece of land to somebody that wants to build on their lot, to architects that have some of the greatest designs, to real estate agents that can help facilitate a sale. So we're actually a much bigger matchmaking game than that, because there's so many pieces that go into buying a new home, even the vendors that go into that piece. If we can help the buyer that's looking for a piece of swampland in Louisiana, and they want to build a certain type of house there, and you need a landowner that wants to sell to someone that's looking for that piece of swampland, but also can find the right builder that can build in that location, but have the architectural designs that match that they're licensed there. If you can do that matchmaking game, and have a real estate agent that's also involved, if needed, I think it'll be a wonderful world. And I could see that market share of new homes go from 15% back to the 60, 70, even 80%.
I am super excited about this. And John, like I said, I've always loved your vision, way before I've ever joined Anewgo. Every time you and I would talk, and I was one of the people that was lucky to learn about the marketplace and your big term vision. I have no idea when you started dreaming this up, but way back in the day.
Well, this is the first time I shared publicly. So, now people get to kind of eavesdrop into our conversations.
Yeah, so I was always impressed by your vision. And I always said about you that you've always been 5 years ahead of our industry and true visionary. And so I feel so privileged to work for you, with you, and to learn every single day from you. So I'm really excited to introduce Anewgo Marketplace Portal coming this summer. So stay tuned, and thank you so much for joining us. And we will see you very soon.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.